Good afternoon, everyone. Gabe Velazquez here with you, transparenttrading-solutions.com for a Tuesday, July 18th. Welcome back, everybody, with our new format. Be getting some great comments on it, so I will continue to do this. Again, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, put some commentary in there. Let's go ahead and get started. I am just a couple of promos here. I'm gonna do a options class a week from today. We had a great class that we just finished a couple of weeks ago. If you did not get a chance to attend that one, I am going to do that again. 3 simple strategies that we've been applying. I'll actually post the results that we have on the last couple of months, which have been really good. So if you are looking to get involved in the options market, which I highly encourage to diversify your away from just futures. Some futures markets have been very challenged lately. So again, opening yourself up to other possibilities, especially with the earnings season coming up. Okay. All right. In fact, I want to start with I mentioned JPM. Yes, Friday. They came out with earnings, and the stock initially popped and then came back down, landed right around 149. We actually did exit that. Let's go ahead and show you the charts and just real quick. We did exit the calls today on that. Let me just show you here on you guys. So that is the chart of JPM. We started right here at 149. We did have a really nice rally today, but it didn't have any follow through as the S&P was moving higher. You'll notice that thing just kind of sat here. So right near the close here, we ended up closing the calls right around 154 here, and we still have puts in this stock as well. So we closed out for a profit. Now we have to cover the puts on this side, and we'll go from here. Clearly the market. We actually got out right up here. So this is not tracking the market. You can see the S&P did go up pretty much all day in a meandering kind of way, approaching some key levels here. We are trying to get short on the S&P. We've got some levels up here, and then gosh, we're not that far away, really, if you think about it, from the all-time highs. In light of everything that's gone on, the all-time highs are still within. In fact, the Nasdaq is really, really close to an all-time high. So we do have some levels up top. We're trying to get short a little closer to that right here. There are, again, some great pullback areas. If you miss this whole thing, again, we've had some pull. We actually caught that pull back here with some SPY puts, and then we gave some of it back. I think I mentioned this. And then the market just kind of went sideways and then took off last week. So these levels below here now create some opportunity. Market's getting very, very extended, especially the Nasdaq. So you probably want to wait for some deeper pullbacks in the market, possibly down to where we broke out from, around the 4,500 area, something like right in there. Okay. So that is something to look at for with the earnings coming out. We got Netflix, which may impact the big impactful stocks are coming next week with Microsoft. I believe Apple's the week after that. We also have a Fed meeting next week, so we expect some volatility next week. And the Nasdaq just blew through all of these levels here, as you notice. That level right there was okay, and then it did get a pullback, and then it just kind of blew through everything. And now this is an all-time high right up here, believe it or not. So it's going to be interesting to see. Looks like this thing is poised to go to an all-time high, and then again, similarly, pullbacks down to the 15,348 area. Right along here would be probably okay. And again, these markets, no matter how. See, we're in a phase right now where no matter how extended the market is, if you got a lot of money on the sidelines, this market just is on a rampage. So very tough to short. We haven't shorted anything. Last time we shorted at any index, by the way, on the was when we hit right here. We actually got that little bit right there. That was the last time we shorted the indexes. We missed that, and then we basically missed the entire move, quite candidly. But because it just never pulled back to quality levels, that type of thing. But it is what it is. Now we're getting into very, very stretched territory. So we'll see. All the rest of the index is really the looks like the Dow finally trying to catch up. But generally speaking, the Dow is right up against this big resistance level, 35,225. Russell still big laggard relative to the highs, and it is also approaching some really nice levels up top here at that 2K area, and that big kind of tested areas there. Okay. In the bond market, very quiet over the last, since I was here with you Friday, nothing really to speak of. This 113 resistance on the 10-year would be something to look at. The next catalyst, today we had, retail sales, which were a little bit less than people expected. And we did get a little bit of volatility initially, but nothing dramatic here. So that is a big resistance level in the 10-year, right around 113.5. And then we, if we clear that, we probably go all the way out to test that high again. But it's kind of in no man's land. So bonds are off the out of the picture right now. Just there's just when these things are in the middle of these ranges, relative to that high and that low, that's also very tricky. And a lot of people, looking at like that will short here, here, and here, and get blown out. So generally, when you have, I would actually deem this a range. And so in a range, your best odds are to go to the extremes and try to avoid getting caught in some of the, you can see this time and again, where you have that move there, and then you get blown out all the way through until you get up into some extreme levels. So that's something to keep in mind if you're trying to trade the bond market right now. So we'll see how that goes. Similar 5-year and 10-year. So not a lot to talk about there. The dollar also consolidating, not a lot of change since we were here on Friday. Still looking at some of these big levels below in the dollar index, this big weekly level down here. Seems to me like that's going to be where the dollar, if indeed is going to get a meaningful bounce, probably goes down to this 98.70 area, this big area down in here. That would be the first level. We're kind of just, again, pausing right now. We did hold, again, these daily levels that I mentioned on Friday, but this is going to be the big one right down in here. So we'll see if we get down there. I think there's odds are very high that we get down in here and then possibly get a bounce up to this area right up here. Okay. Then this also translates into the currencies. So as the currencies are pausing here, you can see there's a pause in the euro, right? So let me, we actually did that way back here on the euro. We shorted the euro over here. Now we're back up into this area. Now this is sitting right there. So you have to be very careful, especially if the dollar decides to pull back, correct the other way. You get this thing blown out right here if we get the dollar coming down to that 199 and then rally, you probably get that blown out. So you got to be careful now with these levels on the currencies. Similarly, got a huge rally in the British pound, and there's really, again, not a whole lot of quality till we get some pullback areas down below here. So it's kind of trying to hold on to that 131 area for now, but nothing really great there. Yen just now yen is trying to chop around here, right? So we're trying to get short on the Japanese yen right along here. And then there's obviously some really great levels up top. These are way far away. We were trying to get long down at this blue, this yellow circle, and obviously never came to fruition. So again, very similar, kind of in no man's land at the moment until we get into these moves. Probably either here or all the way out to here on the yen. Swissy, nothing there, just consolidating as well after this explosive. This is actually was the biggest mover, by the way, as the dollar tanked last week after the CPI number. And again, on the left here, going out to weekly, monthlies, you're not going to see a whole lot. These are multi-year highs on the Swiss franc way out here. I think I mentioned this the other day, so nothing really to talk about there. And then the Australian kind of, again, back and forth type of action right now. So similar, just consolidating, hit a kind of a resistance level up top here. And pretty much these are all tested areas. These are been hit multiple times up here. You can see that. So we came up here once, twice, came up there again, and then whether this is just, again, pulls back all the way down to here or continues to rally will depend on what the dollar does, clearly. So you got to always look at the dollar in relation to buying or selling currencies. You took that out, didn't quite get up to that level there, and now we're pulling back again. There's some levels down here. That could be something here around the 62 on the Kiwi, but we'll see. And then, I think I mentioned that the other day. Generally speaking, a lot of the currencies, you have to be super nimble. Our style of trading in TTS is more swing type. I'm not really into, capturing little bitty pieces of these things back and forth. That just generally doesn't work over long periods of time. It's kind of fun and whatever, but if you want to play the long game, as I keep telling people, if you want to play the long game, you gotta, you can't trade on small time frames, and you can't try to bang out a couple of, less than 2-3x trades here and there, because it's fun and may work for a little while, but that generally, in my experience of 30 some odd years, just generally doesn't work. So in any event, also peso, very strong. There's some pullback areas down along here, down here, but and we are approaching a major level up here at 60 on the peso, so that's something you guys can watch for as well. Today, just again, lots of meandering kind of movement here. You can see silver again. I mentioned that silver looks like it wants to break out. So there's a breakout set up here in silver. You can see it's kind of coiling up. The only challenge is we don't have any catalyst. This is probably going to be predicated on the dollar. That breakout was the dollar, was the CPI move in the dollar. Not until next week, Fed. Maybe this is setting up pretty good for next week, but you're going to need the catalyst, and you're going to need that next move in the dollar to get this thing either pulling back down to here or moving higher. Gold, nothing really to talk about there. Gold market, similar. Gold is starting to perk up a little bit. You can see, I think I talked about this the other, similar to silver. You can see we had a little bit of a move here, kind of meandered all day, and now we're back up to resistance 1986. So it, held 1900, chopped around, and it's going to be, now that we've got this move today along that, now you set up for some pullback areas in gold somewhere along either here or here, and let's see if it actually has some follow through, or this is just another false kind of move like that here. So it is starting to perk up a little bit, gold, coming out of all this mess right here. So we'll see if this is anything meaningful. This kind of caught my eye a little bit today. Remember, we were here Friday and watching this junk right there. So we'll see if actually we can break out above 1990. Clearly, you got some resistance. I've had that line here for a while. So we'll see if that is meaningful or it's just another false break there. Oil also just meandering about. This level kind of hit a little bit, depending. I mean, it's kind of an uglier level. I think I mentioned this. I had this highlighted when I was with you on Friday, but the question now again is, is this going to have follow through, and how far is it going to go? Well, this was if you got caught on that breakout there, obviously it didn't work. So we'll see if there's anything going on there. And then nat gas just kind of again meandering about. Even the grain markets after these big swings in soybeans and so forth are now largely meandering about here. I'm sorry, that's actually wheat. So looks like 15 a bushel, 14 a bushel is what I was talking about the other day. We'll see if that pans out. And then corn did, remember I was talking about a possible breakout in corn here, very choppy, did move out pretty good today. See a 26-point move on corn, but we're kind of in that, if you look at the weekly, and by the way, I use contract specific for the grains. So this actually, again, very whippy down into these weekly levels. So we made a round trip from this high up here, these kind of highs at 632, gradually moved higher, tested that, came all the way back. So there's some big old range trading here in the corn. We'll see if again, if we follow through back up to here, but I would probably look to short corn on the next go round. It's probably going to take that out and go up to the 642. If you can catch some pullbacks like around here, this pause right there, came back. Now let's see if this actually pulls back again, or it actually takes off. There's a bunch of ugly levels in the middle part of this move as well, up all the way up to this 620 level. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. All right, everybody. So that I think covers everything. We've got, again, one last thing, and then I'll get out of here. Netflix. I'm sorry, not Netflix. Tesla tomorrow. Very volatile. It is approaching some really key levels right up here, Tesla, right along this 315 area, with earnings coming out. It's obviously had a huge run, and it's been really volatile the last couple of weeks here. You can see it's actually swinging 78 down to 38, but very, very volatile, gapped up and then, pulled back into the gap here. You can see that right there. That was all pre-market. A lot of these gray areas are pre-market. So you got to, the options, it looks great in retrospect, but if you pulling back here in pre-market and then you wake up, and then once the market opens, you get, 5-6 point moves in the first 10 minutes, then it's really challenged to get more some of these options and so forth. But, this is the next level here, 305, 314 going into the earnings. Typically, Tesla doesn't react, believe it or not, doesn't have strong reaction off earnings because a lot of this is already built in, right? We had this Cybertruck thing over the weekend, which created the gap here. And now it's actually more tracking the S&P. So we'll see how that goes. And, options are great for that. We're also looking at Coinbase for some options plays in that. If you haven't looked at Coinbase, this is also a really nice stock to trade options with. If you haven't looked at this, starting to look at that now. So these are just some of the stuff that I'll be teaching on Tuesday as well. Okay. All right, everybody. So again, class starts on Tuesday. If you're interested in that, it is a very, very comprehensive walking through all the setups, what works, what doesn't. Remember, 3 things that drive options: time, volatility, and intrinsic value. That's a very basic. But if you just stick to that, if you understand what options to apply with those 3 variables, that's a fancy word for what is it? Theta, Vega, and all that good stuff, all the Greeks, right? All right, everybody, have a great rest of your week. I'll see you on Friday. I'll be posting another video on Friday. Again, if you're interested in looking into the class, hit the link below. I'll be tweeting about it and so forth. And again, give me some commentary on the YouTube, and sign up for the channel, and you'll get a notification when I post these. I'm generally going to post these on Tuesday afternoons and Fridays. So, okay. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you on Friday. Take care.